Hello everyone again. Here we are again continuing with the series of our interviews or our sharing with our members of the community of the Congregation of the Mission. We have tonight with us Father Robert Maloney. As you may know, he was Superior General for many years, 12 years. And he has kind of that gift. We thank God for that, that as we share in our missions and our encounters, he inspires us to carry on that Vincentian charism in many ways. I have a personal story that I want to share just a moment before he starts, is that wherever I've gone in my formation and also as a young priest, I've met with Bob everywhere. We're in Paris on the Feast of the Assumption, or in Spain, Barcelona, or whatever it may be. He's been around, and it's funny to just say, I'm from one Brooklynite to another, how you doing, you know? And well, Bob, more than anything else, one of the things we want to do in this series is to share our vocation story. And we would like to, especially our young men in formation, would like to hear your vocation story.
Well, thank you, Esther. Thanks for this opportunity to share the vocation story. It's actually pretty simple. When I was a young boy here on Long Island in a place called Atlantic Beach, I had a very good parish priest who became a friend of my family's, and he was a priest from Ireland originally who was young and active, and I became an altar boy in the parish, and I liked him and liked what he was doing, and so I began to think about becoming a priest. And then when I went to high school, I went to St. John's Prep School, which was run by the Vincentians, and I was there for 4 years, and I got to know a number of the Vincentians very well over those years, and I was struck by the fact that these were happy men, and they were good teachers, and I was attracted by what they were doing for young people like me and others there. And little by little, I decided to join their community, and so after I graduated from high school, I went for 1 year to St. John's University, and after the first year of college, I entered the seminary and went through the whole seminary process and became a Vincentian. Initially, I was sent to study to do graduate work in theology, and I became a teacher, engaged in seminary work, training seminarians to become priests. But always in the back of my mind, I wanted to be a foreign missionary. And I had asked different superiors if I could do that, and finally they said to me, yes. And I went as a missionary to Panama, and I had a very brief experience in Panama, but it had an enormous influence on my life because I worked there in 38 villages in a very rural situation, going to a different village every day to celebrate Mass there and to work with the people. And we also had a large lay formation program in Panama, and so I was engaged in training lay leaders who did a lot of the pastoral ministry in each of those 38 villages. While I was there for less than a year, I was elected to become an assistant to the Superior General in Rome. So that change took place just like that. I had gone to Rome for a meeting, and they elected me to this job, and so I went back to Panama and packed my bags and went off to Rome, and I was there for 6 years as an assistant to the former Superior General, and then I was elected Superior General of the worldwide Congregation of the Mission, and spent 12 years in that role.
And we know that's not a simple job at all.
No, it's a pretty complicated job, and it became more and more complicated because you and I were talking earlier about the Vincentian family. And early in my time as Superior General, I took a trip to Mexico, and while I was in Mexico, I noticed how closely all of the different branches of the Vincentian family were working together there. The Vincentian priests, our sisters, the Daughters of Charity, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, the Ladies of Charity, and our Vincentian Marian youth groups. And when I went back to Rome, I said to my council, the group of advisors that I had in Rome, you know, that's the way it is in Mexico, that they work closely with one another, and it should be that way worldwide. So let's get together the heads of each of these branches of the family. And strangely enough, the international leaders of these different branches had never met together before. So in 1993, we had the first meeting of the international leaders of the family, and we worked out ways in which we could collaborate with one another better in all countries throughout the world. And thanks be to God, it's become a thriving thing. So the Vincentian family collaborates in more than 100 countries now. In fact, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul is in 148 countries, and the Daughters of Charity are in 92 countries. Our Vincentian priests and brothers are in 82 countries. The youth groups are in 50 countries. The Ladies of Charity are in 60 countries. So it's really a big project working together.
That is awesome. And now, a few years back, not so long ago, you kind of started also with the Zafin project.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just tell us a little bit of that?
Yeah, Zafin is a microcredit project in Haiti. It's an online project, so we have an online website which enables people throughout the world to contribute either donations or loans to help people begin small businesses. For example, a loan of $300 or $500, while it might be very small here in the United States, could actually enable a family to begin a business. For instance, a woman might open a beauty parlor, buy a chair and scissors and dyes and maybe a hairdryer, and do it right on the street and earn a living by which she could support her family. Or a father might do an agricultural project or a chicken raising project that would eventually be self-sustaining and would enable him to support his family in the future. We also raise money for scholarships for children. In fact, we've given now more than 4,800 scholarships to young Haitian boys and girls.
That's awesome. Rob, one final thing. As you know, we're talking, this series is really for our men in formation, not just the ones in the U.S. East, but also the ones that hear us or share with us on the internet. What message would you give our students, our men in formation?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I would say to them that the vocation that St. Vincent de Paul offers us is a wonderful one. In fact, the way St. Vincent put it, I love this phrase of St. Vincent. He says, there is no better way to earn our eternal happiness than to live and die in the service of the poor, in the arms of providence, in a real renunciation of ourselves in order to follow Christ. And my experience has been that it's a wonderful vocation, that Christ lives in the poor, and that if we come to know the poor and love them, we can come to know and love Christ in them.
Well, thank you, Bob, for sharing.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
And we'll continue to do this series, and we thank God for this opportunity that's in our hands.